All righty, welcome to the show tonight. You could probably notice that my voice is not 100%, so this is probably going to be the best show for you guys and the hardest one for me to do because it's hard for Bert not to talk. But tonight our pep show, talk show, it sort of takes a little bit of a different look because, well, our football game was last night, so therefore today would have just been moot. So we're going to do a little bit different thing. We're trying to grow our brand here of GSTV and doing things. I need to reach down here and plug in my phone before we die. I had it on and then I pulled it off and I forgot to put it back on. But anyway, so we're going to have some of our local elected officials on tonight, and we're going to have the show sort of split up in two parts. We're going to have some first-termers with us tonight. They're going to tell us a little bit about their first term in office, some of their biggest obstacles because, you know, they're out there, they're the boots on the ground, I guess you would say. So, therefore, they see what we don't see. They see behind, beyond all the Facebook stuff. But also, tonight is not going to be a typical Bert hot seat type thing. This is going to be we're going to get into it, but then we're going to know a little bit about the person behind the politics. If you know the person behind the politics, you might understand how they might look at the policy. Also, we have two on the back side of the hour that's going to both be seeking re-election this term. So we want to thank, sitting right here next to me is Mitch Curtis, Precinct 1 Commissioner here in Van Zandt County, and he's one of our first-termers. We're also going to have Sheriff Bridger. He's in his first term. He's going to be in the 3:30 to 4 o'clock slot. And then we're going to have Wade McMillion, just of the peace here in Precinct 1, and he has told me that he's announced for re-election, and so we're going to have him on. And then, we're here at Tracks. It's right across the railroad tracks as you come into town on 110. And big and bold on the wall, it says it's the home of two salty brides. And one of those salty brides, Miss Sandra, said, what would be a good idea? If we're two salty brides, we want to highlight a successful woman in the area. And I said, well, you know what? Challenge accepted. So I reached out and I got the most powerful woman in Van Zandt County. That's Tonda Curry. And she is coming up on the end of her term, and she's going to be on the ballot in March. And so before all the political hubbub starts, all the mudslinging and all that starts, we want to sit down, we're at Tracks. This is a nice facility. We're going to keep it all family-friendly, dinner table conversation, but we're going to have fun. And you know what? We hope you all walk out of here learning something. So Tana will be on with our 4:30 to 5 o'clock time slot. She'll be wrapping us up. So anyway, let's get right to business here, Mitch. You just got into office. You're just barely probably getting a hold of what everything's going on and how to, manage what you walked into. What is one of the biggest things here locally in Precinct 1 specifically that you see as one of your biggest obstacles?
Just in our precinct?
Yes, sir. Just in your precinct at this time.
I think the number one issue probably for everybody is the condition of our infrastructure, specifically the roads. So that's the lack of money and the the length of miles of road that I have is basically the.
Well, for those that missed the campaign stuff, for those that missed that campaign sign, how many miles of road do we have in Van Zandt County?
It's somewhere around 270. I'm not exactly sure because actually we have our precinct kind of grew. We have all of Edgewood, the city limits of Edgewood, which we don't take care of the streets, but then we have goes across 19 all the way to Thompson Airport and across Interstate 20 to. I guess the boundary would be Highway 16 and Highway 64 all the way to Canton to 19. So
wow, it is.
It's really people don't realize how big this county really is. Altogether, I think there's about 1,200 miles of road, and these are I'm just kind of rounding that off. But in the 4 precincts, there's about 1,200 miles of county roads.
So we all can sit back and see where the problem areas are. We can all sit back and point probably to the reason of these problems. How do we get beyond that? Because this is years in the making. Bad roads didn't happen when Mitch Curtis walked into office. They've gotten there. How do we solve the problem from this day moving forward? Looking towards the future. Is it drainage? Is it tax dollars, tax revenue?
It's all of that. I think there has to be, like what's been really in my mind lately is that there is no baseline for how we build roads in Van Zandt County. Like it can change from commissioner to commissioner based upon his knowledge or expertise or lack of it. So, it can, if you get a guy in there that really has no concept of construction and all of his guys retire, then what you end up with is a bunch of inexperience, a big, really can be a real detriment that you just can't overcome in 4 or 5 years. So,
well, I know for years we've struggled here in Van Zandt County, not just in the precinct barns, but in the jail and in other areas, pay rates for these county employees. It's hard to retain skilled labor when we can't meet market value. How is something that because you got one or two things. I worked in the county barn a little bit several years back as a part-time employee, and you either have too little guys that are fairly decently paid, or you have too many guys that aren't making enough. How do you sort of make that happy medium work?
So, for years, when I worked here 20 years ago, most of the hands are probably early retirement guys that have taken a second job.
Yeah.
And there was a few of them that had probably had 20 years of experience. So you had a gene pool of experience throughout those years. All those guys retired. And now you have guys that are, they're few and far between that you can find that have construction ability, because it takes years to learn the procedures and everything. So
just spitballing here, just something that just came off the top of my head. In the newspaper business, we have something called a style book. So if I hire a new journalist, he comes in, he might matches my style, so our paper looks cohesive. Mm-hmm. Is there a means and method of maybe putting a style book for road construction and repair out there that could be agreed upon across the board? So, like, say the next guy comes in, has no experience, but he has a little bit of a recipe book to go by.
Yeah, well, I think you hear people say, which I don't agree with it, but you hear people say unit system with a road engineer, and
I don't say wait. Come here, Katie. You're gonna be our model, our meatloaf model.
Oh yeah.
Right now, y'all, we're here at Tracks, and meatloaf, mashed potatoes, carrots, and green beans. And as you can tell, she's not waiting and wasting no time. She's ready to chow down. If you never had the meatloaf here, guys, your tongue's gonna slap your nostrils to get every crumb out of them. That's how it is. Anyway, also the next special is gonna be their chicken pot pie with a side salad. So, y'all come in here. We're going to be here for 2 hours, and so y'all stick around and get you something to eat. Watch what we're doing. Okay, sorry about that. We just had an opportunity. We couldn't miss it. Go ahead.
So basically, I just think that I've heard the idea put forth that for a unit system, and I just don't think it could possibly work in Van Zandt County. But I think that we could create a baseline of operations of how we approach new construction on the road.
Any fire department, police department has a policies and procedures book. Mm-hmm. Would it be out of line for the commissioners to possibly put? The unit system, I'm familiar with that. That's a little bit further. That talks about sharing other resources. But
but the unit system also has an engineer that chooses which roads, how much money spent, what the criteria, the modus operandi of how to do that.
Right.
And most of the time, the public thinks we can do things like the state, and it's it would one road 4 miles would take my complete budget,
right, if
I did things like the state. So I think we can find a happy medium that will carry the traffic, but it starts with just good procedures, good principles.
So before we get to this break, on the commissioner side of it, this is also the first time sitting at the big desk up there, and without getting into too big of a hot button topics, there have been a couple of issues that you've sort of been the lone man standing over there in your little corner, and you weren't really rolling with the rest of them. How's that made your first term sitting up there on that bench?
It's been uncomfortable, just a little bit uncomfortable because, there's a huge learning curve anyways. And then when you really looked at our court, we had between the 5 of us, we had 5 years experience on the court. So, and then straight out the gate, we had $200 million worth of projects proposed to us. A new jail, a new courthouse, refurbished courthouse, or restore the courthouse, Paul Michael building. And I was just trying to look for the emergency brake,
Right.
Because, most people, you were talking about salaries and what people make in this area, and then the amount of taxes that people pay. And then they look at the conditions of the roads, and we're trying to build these huge projects. And I was just trying to find somewhere in the middle is where it's probably going to be. But So it's been uncomfortable. It's still a little uncomfortable.
I'm sure I see it a lot over here because people come to me with complaints. You have people come from Rowlett, from Frisco, from Dallas, and come down here to the country, and they expect to have Harry Hines running right down the middle of the county, and that also I'm sure takes a lot of your efforts trying to appease some of those that how do you explain to them we're limited.
A guy like me, I was thinking about the other day, like, I'll drive myself crazy trying to help everybody.
Yeah.
And so, there's, people. The main thing that I found is that you don't avoid people.
Right.
You go straight. If somebody's really upset, you go straight to them. And normally, most people you can work things out with. And you can, I can bring a copy of my budget and throw it down in front of them and say, this is what I've got in front of me. And most people, I'm talking about 99% of them, they understand where we're at and where we're going, and they just want to know that you care and that you're trying to do a good job for them.
Right. Well, as we sort of wrap up this segment for our first commercial break, some of these roads hadn't been touched in years, because there's so many, and I mean, a commissioner can only come in and touch so many roads in his time in office. What is the most outdated or something like you're like, wow, they did that way back when? I mean, some of these bridges have been around since probably Abraham Lincoln was riding across them. What's something that you're saying, wow, I can't believe that's still in use today, and it's that old technology?
Well, we only have one wooden bridge in our precinct left. Most of them are concrete or steel bridges. I haven't had a wow yet because I know the precinct pretty good.
Right.
We were on a road on 1106 the other day, and a guy came out and he said as long as I've been here, nobody has ever tore this road up and redone it, and he'd been there 40 years. So that kind of give you an idea.
Well, and that right there shows that there's a lot of again, you could be out working on one piece of road and these people over here don't see you doing that.
That's right.
Is there a way? How do you try to approach that where you can try to be seen precinct wide even though you're trying to focus your short manpower on a certain mile road?
Well, I mean, like the way I approach it is each zone, I survey each zone, and then I try to I have a criteria of how much traffic runs on the road, the surface condition, and if it joins a state highway. And basically that's how I try to judge the roads that I work on, and I try to spread the money out between all the zones so that each one gets some work.
Okay, so we can say that this segment benefited the public. Let's say they've got a coffee spiller bump on their drive to work. They have to dodge it every morning. If the sun's in the right spot, they hit it. How do they call you and get those big potholes, the ones that'll bend a rim? How do they call you and get those attended to as soon as possible?
If they call the office, 903-567-2166, I'll normally have it taken care of that day.
Okay.
Same day.
Well, you heard it here. Y'all write that number down. And like I said, be patient with him because after this broadcast, I mean, we're so big now, Mitch, you're probably going to get flooded with calls. Y'all going to have to be patient. He's going to have a long waiting list.
It's all good.
They'll get out there and take care of it. We're going to take a moment. We're going to thank our sponsors and the people that make this happen. On the backside, we're going to get to know the person behind the policy. So we'll be right back.
Call Trash Patrol today and be happy with your trash service. Go Indians!
No matter the dream, friend, no matter the dream, MX2 Custom Homes can make it your reality.
Send someone to MX2 Custom Homes and receive $2,500 to put in the bank when they build. Call us today.
Okay, back to the action here at Trax General Store and Mercantile. This is the home of the two salty broads. If you guys have not had supper yet, or hey fellers, I'm going to give you a little secret. Tell you, come down here and get you some meatloaf, take it to the house, put it on a plate, tell your wife you made it. You never know. You might get to watch that Die Hard movie the night before you go to bed instead of having to watch that chick flick.
Yeah.
Today's specials are going to be the meatloaf, mashed potatoes, carrots, and green beans. And let me tell you something. I have experienced that meatloaf personally, and you won't regret it. I promise you. And you're going to be mad if you go to heaven without trying it before you leave. Chicken pot pie and side salad is the other one. Anyway, on this side of the break, my theme for tonight is knowing the people behind the policy. We've talked about the politics on the first side of it, how his experience on the front end of the of his first term. Now we're going to get to know Mitch. I know you as Brother Mitch Curtis. Mm-hmm. You're a man of God. I mean, I'll say the man of the pulpit because I don't know if we have men of the cloth here in East Texas, but you're a man of the pulpit, and so I want to hear a little bit about that testimony, and I want to hear about how you went and decided. I mean, that's a big leap. I mean, to be, especially in a small community, be a man of God and have all eyes on you, especially running for office. I mean, that's where that's neat to me, is because that branches over. You're held to a higher standard for both titles.
Yeah.
How do you manage that? And
I mean, you live your life to one. You know, when you're saved and Jesus is Lord of your life, at the end of the day, that's who you answer to. And if you can, you know, at the end of the day, look up and reflect on the day and think, you know, I've done everything I can to honor Him. That's how you balance it, basically. Because we live in a society that is volatile, really, and you know, Facebook has made everybody a warrior, and you in and then you add that to politics. It can be a tough road, you know. I mean, like, you can get your feelings hurt real quick. You step into the arena, you know. So
I say it all the time. Social media can test your Christianity in a heartbeat.
So I'll just try to stay focused, not get too tangled up in some of the things that were said, and stay focused on the 3 or 4 things that I felt like I could help the county with. And at the end of the day, you know, knowing that my testimony is probably the most valuable thing I have. So
most people don't know, but you and I grew up out at East Center together.
Yes,
you know, way back in the day.
I remember.
I was several years younger, might I add.
Yeah,
and
right.
But we've come a long way. Throughout the years, what was one of the biggest changes you've seen around Van Zandt County that sort of, I guess, drew you into the pulpit to where you felt you wanted to be God's speaker?
I don't think it was the changes in the county. I think that, you know, just the lifestyle I was living when the Lord saved me, and the gratitude that I had in my heart just to be saved, you know. And then it's a calling, you know, like someone said one time, if you can do it, if you want to be a preacher and you can do anything else, you better go do it, you know, because if you're not called to do it, you'll never make it. So I felt like I was called, and I still believe that I was called to minister and preach the Word of God. So.
Amen. So, what is one of your biggest, like, one of your favorite hobbies? Like something when you're off, you're not in the pulpit, you're not on a tractor or in the commissioner's court meeting. What's something that you just really like to unwind and do?
You know, I don't know if I have one. I mean, it's really strange, but like when I'm not, you know, yoked up to, which is never, but like you know, going from the pulpit to politics, you're never unsaddled with responsibility.
Right.
So I love my grandkids. I mean, grandkids are like, I don't guess you have any yet, do you?
No, thank goodness.
It's a different kind of love that you have for your grandkids, and they'll take up a lot of your time. And you know, I tell I kid around with people all the time, but like I used to be my wife's number one, then we had 4 kids, and I moved to 5, and now we have 8 grandkids, and you get the 14th, and then she got a dog, and I'm 15th on the list now. But you know, grandkids take up a lot of your time, but it's good time. So.
Well, this is one of the questions I love when I anytime I talk to a pastor or somebody that leads. What is the biggest God act in your years of being a minister and a mouthpiece for Him? What is one thing that really sticks out that even as a man that preaches the parting of the seas and the burning bush, what is the one big God act that really stands out in your ministry?
There's one or two, but probably one of the biggest ones. Like our family, we weren't raised in church. Like we weren't raised in church, so I don't think my dad ever went to church. And I was saved at like 20 years old, and then called the pastor, and I was pastoring a little church, and we had a revival, and it was supposed to be 5 days, and it went 2 weeks. And
wow.
My dad showed up the last night of that, and he was saved. at the altar call, it was over with, and the preacher said, "Is everybody here ready to go to heaven if the Lord comes now?" And my dad said no. And he walked down there, no music, nobody singing, and prayed the sinner's prayer. And that was an amazing thing. And then 2 weeks later, the next week, my mother was saved on a Saturday night, I think. And we baptized them with her laying on his chest together.
Oh, wow. That is amazing.
So that's one of the biggest things that I've got to see.
I love that. I love that. Okay, well, I'm a preacher's kid myself, so I know that there's both sides. The pendulum swings both ways. What is the hardest call to get as a pastor when that phone rings at, odd hours, unexpectedly, and God calls for you to go out there in the battlefield? What is the hardest call? Is it as a pastor to walk away from, and you feel like it's just heavy to carry?
A child dying.
Always.
Yeah, that's that's the scariest call you'll ever get. And
how do you counsel someone? And I say that because, as you know, our audience is growing, and I ask that question for a reason, because there's somebody out there that's dealing with that right now that may not know Mitch Curtis, that may not know a brother David Crane down at Main Street. What do you say to somebody that's right there right now? And what would you say to them if you had them in your hands right now in a hug, saying, "How to keep?"
It's a strange world we live in. But there are a lot of people that don't know Jesus. They don't know the love He has for them. They don't know the guarantee of eternal life that He's given us. And those are the most important things. And without that, it's a tough world either way. But God has made a way for us to go to have eternal life, to go to heaven, and so when a person loses a child, words don't cut it.
Right.
There's no words. Being there, loving people, giving them time, being patient with people, those are important things. But those are God domains.
Right.
And the first time that it happened to me, I was terrified, to be honest with you, because I knew that I didn't have what it took.
Right.
But God assured me as I was on my way over to meet the parents that He was already there. So, but counseling a person that has no faith, that's a tough thing.
But that was going to be my next follow up. What do you say to the person that says there is no God, or that's been hurt by someone in the church?
Yeah, there is nothing. There is. Paul said, if there is no resurrection, eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die. So,
right.
Living a hopeless life, that's a tough road to hoe.
It is.
And
you know my testimony. I've seen a little bit of that dark shadow all over my life, and of course you have got a testimony. We've both overcome those. Those times could have sucked us in and taken us elsewhere. And the fact that we're on this side of the battle. Well, I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this question, but on the flop side of that, what are the best calls to get when you find out, like?
Well, 2 months ago, it's right around 2 months ago, 10 o'clock at night, my 13-year-old granddaughter called me and said she wanted to be saved. Those are she'd finally, and it was a long road to get her there. She was very shy, and she got to. I said, do you want to be saved enough that you'd get in the baptismal waters? And she said, absolutely. So, those are great calls there. Babies being born, people getting married. Those are great things.
Yeah, those are definitely, especially.
I heard that there were 3 kids saved at Main Street the other night on the football field. Those are great things.
And I made a statement about it last night, and I'm going to make a statement about it again on this podcast. That was an amazing event that happened up there at Grand Saline High School football field the other night. Weather moved games up forward. That's why we're here today. But Main Street stepped up and said, "Hey, we want these kids to experience God," and it was an opportunity for kids that may not have even shown up at any church in the area to show up, and there was 3 of them that professed. But what was disheartening was the people that were online saying negative comments. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you're an atheist or a Muslim, this doesn't pertain to you, because I get it. I don't agree, but I get it.
Be careful. Be careful now.
But if you're a Christian and you went in there and you had anything other to say than amen, then I'm sorry, you're bouncing on the wrong pogo stick, my friend. You need to get off and reevaluate, because that was a good thing that went. That's a good thing that happened, and I'm sorry if you ain't celebrating today about 3 young lives that just found Christ and eternal salvation, then shame on you. Shame, shame, shame. Everybody know your name. Anyway, so I'm off my soapbox right now, and we've got about 4 more minutes. So as we wrap this up, Mitch, and we move forward, you're still got your turn, the rest of your term to go. We've been talking about your faith and the faith. Let's put the mixture of the two in the blender. Let's somebody out there. We got a lot of prayer warriors out there. I know a whole bunch of them by name. What is the Van Zandt County prayer list that these people can go out there? Because it says in the Bible, be praying for your state, your county, your officials, your elected. What is something that these people out here can put on their prayer list that they, because you know behind the scenes everything that these people don't know through the Facebook muck and all that stuff. What is the prayer list that Van Zandt County prayer warriors can pray for our county?
I think that one of the challenges is that your heart doesn't get hard towards the public, and because it could, it's like it's hard enough. There's enough strain in it that you could get desensitized to the public. Like you see the public every day, they see you every now and then, and I just think it'd be a great thing if everybody that was in office could keep an open heart towards the public. That's the main thing. We're here to serve. That's the public is the government. We're
Right.
We're servants of the public, and if we can keep that mentality, I think it could go a long ways.
I agree. As I've always said, I don't judge a man by his actions. I judge him by his intent.
Yeah.
And that's the sort of reason why I'm doing this series, is knowing the people behind the policy, because of the simple fact, sort of if you know where a guy's shooting from, you can sort of understand why he's shooting there. But if you don't know it, then all the chatter out there sort of puts intent into the conversation that's not even there, not even relevant. Well, Mitch, I want to say thank you so much for showing up today.
Yeah.
Again, I say this every time one of these public servants steps on screen with me. Y'all don't have to answer my call. This was a last minute change. I mean, yesterday the games, or the day before, the games were changed. It was a scramble, and everybody that's on the guest list tonight, the moment I called them, they said yes, and I thank every single one of them for stepping up, being available, and to me that speaks volume to me, and it should speak volumes to you. Anyway, we're going to take a commercial break. We're going to swap set around, and we're going to bring in Sheriff Bridger next, and we're going to see what the long arm of the law has to say. I fought the law, and I won. Ha-ha!
All right, so now.
I'm happy my voice came back. I bet y'all mad, but my voice came back right as I started.
Salt liquor, yeah, come on down. Salt liquor, best eats in town. Got crawfish boiling, the music's pumping. We got carry
All righty. Sheriff
we're
Bridger.
not even there.
That's a 15-second lag, sir.
Oh.
We're speaking in real time. It'll be back in just a second.
All right.
So
where's the camera at?
it's right there, the big black thing right there.
all right,
Okay.
all right.
Just like you tell the drunk, the camera's right here. Follow the pin.
Follow the
You
pin.
have the right to remain silent.
Yeah. Can I remain silent? Oh.
See there we are, and now we're loud.
We're loud. Oh well.
All right.
So just so everybody knows, I was trying to watch ourselves so I didn't get.
Yeah.
I'm not a good speaker, so we're going to try our best.
Well,
here today.
basically how it went down was he said it'd make him nervous, and I said let's do it. That's just that's kind of relationship we got.
Well, I can't see. That's a delay.
Exactly, but see, you can see what you did 5 minutes ago, so you can be double embarrassed. You'll feel it in real time, and then you can feel it in reflection.
Okay, all right. Okay. All right, here we go.
All right. Again, let me reintroduce. If y'all don't already know, some of y'all know him better than others. He's giving you a little bit of jewelry. Van Zandt County Sheriff Kevin Bridger.
Yes, sir.
Used to be Grand Saline PD.
I did.
Sheriff Bridger, and I've known you for a minute, and so of course as you're
we
sort
need recliners.
you know what? If we'd have done this at Come on the Football Talk show, we've got some nice seats. A follower, a fan of that show, sort of Miss Hobbs. Matter of fact, I actually got to meet her Friday night at the football game, and somebody go get me some. I just kicked over my coffee. All righty, all right. So tonight we got Sheriff Bridger on the horn with us, and we've been talking about doing a podcast, and we've been talking about how we were going to structure it. And one of the first things that he said was, he says, why don't we just get to know each other? Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, that sounds like a good idea to me. And that sort of developed into what we got going on today. And so first, as I said before, you're one of the ones that you're in your first term.
Yes.
So you've come in, and
by the way,
you've experienced.
They call me the baby sheriff.
The baby sheriff.
That's it.
They didn't get that from your face. Are you crying in your office at night or something? I mean, come on. No, anyway, so you're in your first term. You came in with a perception, and then you got elected, and you came in and saw reality. Mm-hmm. What was one of the biggest, okay, I got to readjust on this, because you really, it was actuality versus perception once you got into office?
That I can't get out there and work as much as I want to. I got to stay in the office and take care of that.
And believe it or not, you're not the first sheriff to tell me that. Mm-hmm. I've been doing this a long time,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, you know what? I'm going to pause real quick. I spilt my coffee. We're going to let her come in here so she doesn't get on camera. I'll be right back. My bad. All right.
And
Baby
we're
Bert's boo-boo's been cleaned up.
And we're back.
She compared. She says, I said, I'm sorry. She says, I've got toddlers at home. I mean, and I know my wife, if she's watching right now, she's laughing her head off because I've done it 1,000 times. Corbin just told Sheriff Bridger that I knock over 6 cups of coffee a day, and he's not exaggerating. So anyway, we were talking about perception versus reality.
Yes,
when you
yes.
run, if you're an incumbent, you're a little bit more familiar with what you're really facing, the actualities in there. Coming in as the baby sheriff, what is it that you got in there and you said, whoa?
There hasn't been really no big whoa-ohs.
Really?
Not yet. I mean, no. Everybody's. We got a phone call. Hang on, Don's calling us.
Yeah, I'd called him earlier, and he doesn't even realize I was.
Yeah, there really hasn't been any uh-ohs really.
Good.
And the reason why I say that, and thankfully, I've had some good mentors in my career, and they prepared me, and so that we just take care of business as it comes along.
Well, I know, like county expansion and stuff like that is a big topic. You know, you got to be living under a rock if you can't see the new homes that are coming in, and some of these homes are massive. I mean, big. So you know, this is a population that's coming this way. You've got only so much manpower, and then I've had a scanner for years. I've listened to it. Y'all run more cattle calls, dog calls, wild boar walking across my yard calls than y'all do, criminal calls. Having limited manpower, how do y'all address that kind of thing with not only the safety of the people, but let's just when country gets turned into city or turns into neighborhoods, you start encountering a lot of that. Okay, we're a bunch of dog dumping and wild animals, boars, stuff like that.
Just like every other city, we're not the county or that's short-staffed, right? Just like every other business out there nowadays. So we just prioritize. As the calls come in, we prioritize them, and we take the ones that need to be taken first. And sometimes some have to wait a little bit longer than others, but other than that, I mean, no, we just prioritize them and take care of them.
So, do you see a reoccurring, like something that we can swap, change policy or something like that, maybe alleviate some of that, make that growth a little bit more manageable?
I mean, that's growth is coming.
Yeah,
right? It doesn't matter. Growth is coming, so we just have to, as it comes, adapt to the growth, and we just have to make sure that we still prioritize, and that could be a number of things. I heard Commissioner Kerrs talking about the roads. I mean, some roads as we grow, and some roads are going to be traveled more than others, so we have to prioritize that road. To get fixed before some of the other ones, I'm sure.
Right.
So it's just, we just got to make sure we're ready for the growth and handle it as it comes.
So what do you see as maybe in your first term? What do you see as like maybe our biggest bumpy road in law enforcement? What problems do you see like ranks up here? Like you're seeing it over and over, and we need to get a handle on that. What do you see?
That's in law enforcement in general, we want more people all the time, right?
Right.
We want 5 people to be ready to go to a call at a time.
Amen.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm not the only sheriff to say this, and the past sheriffs and before me and the past the sheriffs after me are going to say the same thing. We just need more people.
Yeah.
Right. We need more funding, and I don't know that's ever going to change.
Right.
And that's not just here for my office. That's for offices that we talked about earlier. That's for offices everywhere.
Right.
So we just ask that when the way we do our job, we just ask that people be patient with us and just know that hey, we just don't have as many people as we like, and we're doing our best.
Well, and as I sort of pitched this, getting to know the person behind the policy, I'm going to ask you the same 2 questions I asked Mitch a while ago.
How did he answer?
Well, you'll have to get his cheat sheet right from underneath the table here. But in law enforcement, and I mean, we can all pretty much know but I want them to see or hear how you handle it. What are the hardest calls to get that need Sheriff Bridger on right now?
The hardest calls, there's some calls are more personal than others.
Right.
It depends. Some deputies, including myself, might be more sensitive to certain situations than others. So, for me, it's the calls where someone takes their life or something like that.
Right.
So, I don't know if I answered the question the right way you want me to, but I just feel like that I can't answer that for everybody. I can just tell you that some calls are more personal.
Right.
Than others.
Well, and I love that you went there because that, one of my passions is recovery and stuff like that. And you went with that. What kind of outreach would you like to see in Van Zandt County to help curb some of that, taking their own lives or that kind of thing? What kind of outreach would you like to see in Van Zandt County?
We just need to educate people, right? We need to say, hey, we're here, right? And call your friends. and say, hey, how you doing? If you know your buddies, you know them. If they're having a tough time, just reach out to them, and not necessarily to say that I'm just here to talk.
Right.
I'm here to listen.
Right.
You talk, let me listen. Or like I tell my kids, I tell them, I say, look, when they call me with an issue, or I call them with a problem sometimes, I say, okay, am I here to listen and just listen, or am I here to listen then give advice?
Right.
So, I just think that we need to make sure that we reach out to people and let them know that, hey, you matter,
Right.
just in general. So that's what I'd like to see more of, and that just goes on. It's just community wide.
Right.
I don't know that there's necessarily a program that we
mentality.
can
That's
say
a social
that.
mentality.
Yeah, it's that. So and that's just what I'd like to see.
Well, and of course, to end this little segment, we got about 3 minutes left.
That's it, 3 minutes.
Yeah, 3 minutes. Hey, if you want to hang around after the deal, Miss Tonda said that she was running late, and I don't see Mr. McMillion here. So
that was fast. Man,
yeah,
wow.
It's which we still have 15 minutes
Okay.
before, but Miss Tonda said she was running late, and this is podcast set up. This isn't TV set up. So if we run over, there's Wade McMillion right there. Hello, Mr. McMillion. But if nothing else, we can still extend it a little bit longer. We still got 15 minutes to
Let's
go
do it.
and
Let's
all that.
do it.
But before we go there, what is your favorite part of the job?
Man,
As sheriff. Not long, because you've got long. We're going to get into
yeah.
the law
My
enforcement.
favorite part of the job,
As sheriff, yeah.
handing out stickers.
Handing out stickers.
Yes.
That's always a fun job. Them kiddos, I
Yep.
love. I used to have some. They come when we had an office downtown. They come in here. That just makes you smile.
Yep.
Now, I'm going to leave you on this. I know every law enforcement officer has one. What's that one high-speed chase that got away that still lives with you today?
Well, I don't know about no high-speed chases, but there's been many out there, many a times where I'm like, golly, and you just let them go.
You just let them. It's
go.
hard, isn't it?
Yes,
you
yes.
grumble and mumble all the way home.
Yeah. The public safety is more important than your pride.
So you have cookie dough and ice cream up there to sit at home in your fuzzy butter slippers. And
My tissue.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're going to go back to our ads and thank the folks that help us be here. We're going to be back on the other side of the break to get to know Mr. Kevin Bridger, not
That's it.
Sheriff Kevin Bridger. We'll be right back.
Gibson Service Company is your hometown service company located right here in Grand Saline. Gibson Services offers an array of services no matter the scale of the job, such as civil engineering, commercial large-scale and corporate construction, commercial and residential sand and gravel, select fill and dirt pit, land clearing, concrete, asphalt and fencing. No matter the job site, Gibson will get the work done right. Gibson Service Company is the generous sponsor of Gibson Service Control Panel here at the Grand Saline Sun Live Local Now broadcast mothership. Thank you, John Gibson and Gibson Service Company. You guys rock.
Quiero una casa, a pretty casa, un lugar para mi corazón. Far from the city, it isn't so hard. Just show me the yard. Mi casita, show me mi casita. A little house, that's where I wanna be.
All righty, we're back. Corbin was over on the side. He said, I don't know when this one ends. He didn't have the earphones in, I don't think. But anyway, so on this side of the break, we're getting into the person, not the policy. So you're a world traveler. I mean, that's one thing that I've known about you. I mean, you've got a long military background and you traveled through that, but as a grown feller, you travel a lot. And you've been, what is the neatest culture you've gotten experience traveling abroad?
So first of all, I have to give my wife the credit because she's the one that makes me save all the points to the credit cards, and she finds all the great deals.
And hi, Miss Virginia. She's right here watching, telling him how to posture himself. Thank you. So my podcast is good.
So I love Vietnam. Vietnam was awesome. It's a beautiful country. The food is awesome.
Right.
It's very busy, but everybody's very respectful, and they don't they're not yelling and screaming at you to get out of their way. It's just it's a very good culture. I really enjoyed it.
Well, you do not know how much I am so happy you went there. I knew you traveled everywhere, and I thought you might tell me Paris or France or something. What have you eaten that has had eyes, and what is the weirdest thing you've eaten? Because I mean, if you're over there, not
yeah. So I've eaten a lot of fish that still has the eyes. A lot of squid, raw squid, fresh fried squid, just different things like that. There's some bugs you can eat over there. It was interesting. Yeah.
So.
But if you go over there, I feel like that you have to experience.
Well, why not?
You truly have to. You can't say, "Ooh," if you never tried it, you don't know. So.
Well, I don't go to Canton and eat at Sonic because I've got a Sonic here in Grand Saline.
There
so
you
I always
go.
eat. So if you're gonna go over there, why do you want to eat at McDonald's?
That's right. Yeah,
so you do some you've been out in some far remote places. I mean, you don't just go to the tourist spots. I mean, I've seen you go off the beaten path.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us how different culture is over there, and one of the biggest culture shocks coming from over here and then going over there. What is one of the biggest, that'd be hard to get used to?
No ice.
Oh wow!
They don't like ice.
I'd have to have it shipped in.
Yeah. So a lot of ice. Yeah, and
ice.
The air conditioner. They don't believe in a lot of air conditioning over there either. So.
Isn't it muggy?
It's muggy.
Wow.
It is muggy.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
golly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So, what's the furthest reaches, most remote location you've ever visited?
Maybe, I really don't know. I guess Vietnam might be the furthest. That was the furthest plane ride, so yeah.
So, while you're there.
Australia was pretty far, but yeah.
Is Australia as miserable as it looks?
No, it's beautiful. No.
Oh, okay.
It was beautiful.
It just seems to me like it'd be like West Texas, just the whole country of West Texas.
There are some areas like that, but it's fun, yeah.
Oh, okay. So, do you hear wives' tales? Over here, an apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Mm-hmm.
What is the strangest wives' tale you've heard in your travels?
I don't know that one. I'm not ready for that one. I don't know.
Well, I'm trying to see just the story you tell to everybody, you wouldn't believe it. Throw salt over your shoulder, for good luck. Is there something that just really sticks out? You got to rub the top of the door frame before you go into some place?
No. I mean, I'm sure they have some over there, but what I realized when you go over there, that they believe in being fit. So.
Right.
Little portions, a lot of exercise, and so not really no wise tale that I can think of. But
awesome.
Yeah, anyway.
Well, and of course, those cultures are a lot more traditional.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing that I took Taekwondo, and so I was very familiar with the Korean side of it, but they're a lot more traditional and something what is one thing you would like to really see come from the Vietnam culture? Me, I would love to see the respect for your elders.
Sure.
Over there,
that's big over there.
It's huge. I mean,
huge,
in that
definitely.
whole region, it's not just Vietnam, but the respect for your elders and the regard.
They definitely believe in taking care of their elders, 100%. Yeah, and they don't let them do too much. They try to take care of them, and they don't put them in homes. And I'm sure some do. I don't know. But for the most part, majority of them don't.
So what is something that you'd like to see us incorporate?
Food.
You said
Bring all the food here.
Bring all the food here, huh?
Okay. All that fresh food, non-processed fresh food. Bring it over here. Let's do it.
I like it.
But everybody knows that I like to eat, so it's okay.
Well, okay. Now, I'm in the fire department and in journalism. I see one of my favorite sayings is, real life trumps fiction daily. Mm-hmm. Give me a little bit of experience in your public service, and then as you build up that so people can know what scope we're talking about, what is the weirdest thing that you have seen in law enforcement? Weirdest call, weirdest Santa stuck in their chimney? I mean, what is the most out there oddball thing?
So just for clarity, you did give me a heads up on this.
Yes, I did.
And I could, I rack my brains, and I'm sure there's just a crazy one out there, but the one that sticks out to me the most is, and it's not that it's bizarre, but this one gentleman, he pretended like he was deaf, and he was mumbling to me and kind of yelling at me in a deaf tone, and he was drunk. He was DWI, and I called his wife to help me out, and when she answered the phone, she said, "You got to be kidding me." She said, "Let me guess, he's deaf today." And then I said, "Well, yes, ma'am, he is." And she goes, "Well, he's not, so you need to take his but to jail. And that was putting it very mildly.
Right.
And I said, really? She said, yeah. I said, okay. So we get back, and I get back in the car, and I said his name, whatever his name was, and I said, hey, I know you're not deaf. He goes, oh man, you got me. He said, my wife told you. I said, yeah. So then he started telling me, what? I'm sick. I need to go to the hospital. I just had surgery. I said, wow. I can't believe it. He goes, no, call her. She'll tell you. So I called her, and she goes, no, he can't get by with that one either. Sorry, I ain't helping him this time. He's on his own. So anyway, he went to jail for DWI. So
wow.
You know what? But as I sit here,
that's awesome.
And we talked about something just a second ago about what we should bring here.
Right.
Maybe from over there. I did have my wife and I had some tea with an elder over there. He invited us to his house, and one thing he did say to me, he said, because he was in the Vietnam War as well.
Right.
And my godfather was in the war. And one thing he told me, he said, this is what we teach our children and our grandchildren here. We teach them to, we don't have eyes in the back of our head. We have them in the front of our head. That way we don't never look behind us. We always look forward to the future and to make every day better than yesterday.
Right.
And I thought, wow, that's pretty amazing,
yeah.
And so when you go over there, I've been over there a couple of times, and it really shows. That they don't have any resentment or anything like that, and they look forward and try to make every day better.
Do you? And this just.
I'm sorry, I got off a little topic.
No. I love it because
it just came back to me.
Hey, we're burning time, and I asked a question I wanted to answer. It don't matter what order it comes in, but do you see a lot of technology over there? Is it like it is here? As prominent? Or
yeah, definitely.
Do they control it better over there? Or is it much of an addiction over there as it is here?
Well, I think it's a little bit worse maybe over there.
Wow.
Because I think that, and I can't prove this, but I believe that they're a little bit ahead of us in some of the technology, and so it's definitely.
Do you notice a difference in how they use technology and what we? I mean, I use AI to make fart videos. And run away from cops in banana outfits. So
we need to do some of those together too.
Yes, we most definitely do. Except we're live action. I got the diaper and the banana suit. You ready?
I've seen it because you just. Oh, by the way, you just hit how many followers?
We 17,000. We're closing in on 18,000. We're hoping this show right here.
There
like,
you go.
tag, share. Thank you
That's
for
it.
See, he got my back.
There you go. There you go.
But y'all go and follow us on the Grand Saline Sun. Subscribe on the YouTube. Anytime we go live, you'll be notified. And we bring you quality entertainment like this right here.
Hey, the best free quality
entertainment. Although he's charged me an arm and a leg for this interview.
Water.
Yeah, water. I promised him dinner, and he didn't know I was lying. He had to pay for it. No. Anyway, when they're using their technology, are they over there using it to solve, physics equations? Or are they doing like me and passing gas on the president?
Well, I can tell you this: I don't know because I was too busy doing the tours thing. So,
okay, yeah.
I couldn't tell you.
Well, you fooled me because I thought your pictures, you looked like you was at home there. You acted like you'd been there before.
Well, we were lucky. We had a young man take us under his wing and show us around the whole countryside. So it was nice. And I'm sure they do that. I don't.
Well, just like I closed out our last segment with Mitch, and of course. I want, in the Bible it says to pray over our elected officials, and the man that wears the badge and the gun, I mean, I can't think of a fellow that needs even any more protection because you don't know if your next traffic stop's going to turn into something that's awry. What is one thing, again, I've got a whole lot of prayer warriors out there, a lot of people of faith that follow us. What is the one thing that you would like for them to pray to cover you and your deputies and your staff with in prayer as they go to the Lord every night? What is the one thing you want them to pray for you about?
Just pray for their safety. That's it. Just pray for their safety and pray that they make the right choices throughout their shift and help them. That's it.
All right. And if they encounter them out there on the street,
and don't be afraid to walk up to a deputy, myself, and talk to them. We enjoy that. We like for people to see us out there and stop and talk to us and tell us how their day is going. So yeah, absolutely. Don't be afraid.
And I promise you, he's not as mean as he looks.
No, I mean, mean. Really?
It's the gray hair.
Oh,
you look like a crabby old man with that gray hair. I mean, maybe we need some just for men. I mean,
okay.
Make you a little bit more approachable, sir.
Yeah.
So anyway,
it's getting cold outside, so I had to put a little little shield up
well,
here.
everybody asks me why I shave my beard is so I can get this all one color. You know, my mustache is the one color and my beard's another color, so it's either a mustacheless beard or it's a beardless mustache.
Yeah.
And I fit the mustache better.
There you go.
Anyway, we're going to go thank the sponsors that helped make this possible. We want to thank you, Sheriff Bridger,
Yes,
for
sir.
coming on.
Thank you.
Y'all
Thank you.
cover him in prayer. Y'all stop, talk to him. Say, you told me I could, and tell him all about your pottery experiments and
That's
all that
it.
good
That's
stuff.
it.
We'll be right back.
All right.
Clothesline for you and mine. Big loads, small loads, we do it all. I know. Don't do laundry in your tub, no. Rubber dub is such a scrub. Let us do the work for you, yes. We'll pick it up and bring it to true. Clothesline for you and mine.
Cruising down Main Street, yeah. Sun sinking
All righty. As you can tell, our panel has yet changed again. With us today is Justice of the Justice of the Peace in Precinct 1, Wade McMillion. Say that one 15 times while you're dyslexic. Let me tell you. Anyway, so this man came to me, I think it was at Stew Festival, wasn't it, when you walked up to me and you said, hey, I got some news for you. And we sort of said something then, but, this is where we're going to blast it out loud and proud and official. Go ahead and make your announcement to the camera.
I am running for re-election for Justice of the Peace, Precinct 1, Van Zandt County.
And you were just wrapping up your first term into office, right?
This has been wrapping up my second term.
That's your second term. Man, time flies.
Time flies.
It seems just like yesterday you were walking into my office for the first time, and we talked about the whole thing. I asked him, I said, do you hate yourself? You running for office? And he laughed at me, and then he wound up and winning, and look at you now, going for term 3.
I think the first time I met you was at a car show up here.
It was. You were with your wife, Tammy. Hi, Miss Tammy. How you doing?
Yeah.
And we got to talking, and from there on, we've grown fond of each other. We have coffee from time to time when we can make time, and so as your time in office, what is something that you see? And of course, I don't know if you notice the theme of it's betterment of Van Zandt County. We want to lift up our brother, and we spoke with Mitch, and we brought up the whole faith part of it and how to minister. But then we talked to Bridger on the tragedy side, and we lift up. He talks about suicide being one of his things that's really affected him and his job. What is one issue that, if we can use this show right now to highlight in this county where there's a need for an outreach or a mission to touch or even a government program maybe, what would that one thing be?
If you're reaching out to people, I'm going to have to echo the sheriff. Suicide in this county is that's one of the things I think that has really surprised me and shook me up a little bit,
right,
because of how much I've seen in just this. I took office April 2018. 3 weeks ago, I had another one. I'm not keeping count, but I mark them in my file system.
Right.
And that was number 21 gunshot suicide. I've had other types of suicide,
right,
but it just. I think there's a real need for that, to reach out to people, because that's just me. I mean, that's not counting the other 3 JPs in it. And we really need to have something to reach out to people.
It's a needless thing that's happening. It's one of those things that, and your role in that is one of the hardest roles because you're the one that comes in and makes that official. Mm-hmm. What is the process when you get that call as JP? How do you mentally prepare for what you're going out and you're about to see?
I generally will ask the dispatch the age, and that will help me prepare a little bit. And if there's any family on the scene,
right.
Then when you get there, it's you do your job aspect of it, cause and manner of death. Talk to the law enforcement that are already there. They've already done some investigation on their part, and just ask them what family members are present,
right,
who they are, and then visiting with them. That's where the ministry part of it comes in.
Right. And how much as that, Justice of the Peace, how much of that comfort and ministry do you do?
I won't say I've always prayed with people on my death calls, but 95% or more, I pray with them. I always try to ask them if there's any way that we can assist them in calling a minister, a priest, a rabbi, whatever that, help them contact people. And because most of the time there'll be a lot of family there,
right,
but sometimes there's not. And,
right,
and you offer that assistance to them. And be as comforting as you can, and let them know, hey, you want to call me for anything, you call me. And if I don't know the answer, I'll try to find somebody that does. And so.
And one thing I failed to ask Sheriff Bridger before he got off, but I can ask you because we're talking about the same topic. If somebody's feeling like that right now, they're looking at this right now, they're feeling that way right now. Is there something in place right now, somewhere they can reach out to in Van Zandt County?
They're not that I know of in Van Zandt County. I mean, there's a suicide hotline people can call and things like that. But my deal is, I look at that as a spiritual problem, and not just a psychological. Everybody's I share the same thing with Mitch. It's your faith in Christ, your faith in God, your strength that you draw from Him. But even people who know the Lord can sometimes get to that point that they feel left out, feel lonely. Maybe they're sick, they have terminal illness, and they're tired of the pain. And
our healthcare system doesn't make it any easier by no means. And one of my sort of birdisms that I've always said is, life is a cruel dance partner. I mean, it will find your weakness and bear you down. And I echo what Sheriff Bridger said. Call somebody. Be there for them. Be that because I mean that one phone call that you ignore. Especially from someone that may have a history or something like that. So we've gotten on that side of it. What about the favorite part of your job? I mean, let's end on the happy note. What is the favorite part of your job? I mean, I know you do a whole lot of marriages and sometimes repeat customers, right?
I don't perform weddings.
Oh, you don't do weddings?
I leave that to the preachers and other judges if they want to. I don't perform weddings. What is my favorite thing? I don't really know. The least favorite thing is magistrations at the jail. That's the least favorite thing. And one of the other judges and I were talking one time, and he said, I'm these inquests, because they kind of come in runs. You'll get a bunch at one time, and he said, man, I'm getting wore out with these things. And I said, I'll trade you the jail. And he said, really? I said, I look at that as a ministry time, and to be with people and things like that. I said, I don't really have a favorite thing. I don't suppose. Looking, sometimes game wardens or DOT troopers walk in with some charge I've never seen, and I go, what in the world is this?
Right.
And so that's always kind of interesting.
So in your span of time, because, I mean, you've been in public service for a long time. You've been a firefighter, a police officer, right? And, I mean, you've gone the gamut of certifications.
Yeah.
What is the most awe-inspiring thing you've ever seen that you've walked in on a call? You're like, I can't believe it. Like I told them, fiction trumps reality 1,000 times over. What is that one? Wow, I'm going to have to tell everybody about this. Took a picture and brought it home with you. I mean, what was that?
Exciting that I really liked, or
weird. But
weird.
We go both. We go both exciting too, but we can also go weird.
Weird. I don't know. You kind of gave me a heads up on that, and I got strange and weird. What? Everybody's got a different definition of that. I think one of the things that amazes me is the positions, the predicaments that people can find themselves in physically. At the fire department, many times, you'd find people in a position, and you look at them and say, how did you get in there? And they look at you, well, it's a long story. And we're going, it's got to be, and the same thing on this job. You think, how did this happen? And you just, it's always amazing how the body can actually fit into places that you and I just sitting there, that can't happen. Oh yeah, it can.
Yeah, we get them calls all the time where it'll be so and so fell and they can't get up, and you're like, you walk in there and you're like, okay, you fell, or did you get thrown, or did you get left, or did you get crammed? I mean, it's like, how in the world? But that also comes from them wiggling and squirming, and finally you just get to the point where, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
So as we go to close this segment of the things, your vision in your office as we move forward, what is one area in your jurisdiction that you would like to see Van Zandt County really target to make Van Zandt County a better place?
Over the years, I've watched our situation with traffic and all increase. I think even up to till today, there's not been a deathless day on Texas highways since 2006
Right.
or something like that. And I justice and municipal courts deal with all the traffic violations, and they're just fine-only misdemeanors.
Right.
So everybody in their mind, it's just a minor thing, and it is on the criminal scale. It's a minor thing. It's a fine-only misdemeanor. But running a stop sign it's a fine-only misdemeanor. But it's not a minor thing when you meet somebody.
Right.
And you're driving on the wrong side of the road. It's not a minor thing when somebody else is coming to you.
And you don't want to carry that on your shoulders for the rest of your lives.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. And I'd just like to see us bring back a little more teeth into those violations and the consequences for those violations and everything, but to make roads a lot safer. Because I get mad at myself all the time.
Right.
I do something stupid. I go, what was I thinking? Or I didn't see that guy. And I go, I didn't see that guy. Where did he come from? And just a minor thing, but until you meet somebody, and then it's not minor anymore.
Well, as we close, I told you this isn't a campaign stop. This was an announcement, but also we want to throw a little bit of shop in there to help you out since you just announced. Where can people go to learn more about you, your career, and also how to donate to your campaign when y'all get down to the running and all that good stuff?
Well, right now we haven't put anything online yet, so but they can come by and see me anytime at JP1. If I'm not there, I'll be there in a little while. And,
exactly.
And so, but until then, they could just reach out and talk to me, talk to my wife, Tammy,
right,
and do that.
And of course, we're like I told all these guys, we're doing this before all the crazy and the mud and the muck of the campaign season gets started, because once that happens, there's going to be mud thrown and all that. And it's hard to know the person when they're constantly defending themselves. So today we had a spot to fill. I wanted to bring a couple of my friends who happen to be the starting lineup of Van Zandt County elect. We're going to go to a commercial break, and we'll be right back on the other side. What was the last one I did? There we go.
Friday night, the lights are on. The Indians gonna bring it home. Grand Cillian, we're number one. Metal building standing strong. Rah, rah. 2 bits, 4 bits, 6 bits, $1. Give Amber a holler. National Metal Buildings. Go Indians, let's hear it loud. Go Indians, make them proud. From Grand Cillian we stand tall. Ryan's Automotive helps one and all. Keep your ride rolling. Keep your ride rolling. Ryan's Automotive.
And we're back. Thank you to the guys that would be the Savallo couple. That's a married couple. But if y'all looking for Ryan, go over on Bradburn. He just moved over there. I think it's 301 Bradburn. Y'all go check Ryan out there. Anyway, we're back with Justice of the Peace, Wade McMillion. But right now we're going to meet Wade McMillion. We're not going to meet Justice of the Peace. We want to know, most of y'all don't know, but he is a green thumb. Gardener,
Quite.
Hey, I've shopped at your produce stand. It's pretty impressive. And as a guy that has, just a little square where I grow some tomatoes and a couple watermelons, tell us about the size of your operation. Don't you have a pretty large operation?
Well, we did at one time, but I have to give credit for that to my son and daughter-in-law. They really took off with that, and I was just there for a while. I was just physical labor out there pitching the watermelons, and so. And I think my son was a little surprised I could still do it, but that's it's doing well down there. They do a good job and they run things real good. And
so, how many years have you been doing that?
Well, we started messing around with it when I retired from the fire department 2016, I think it
Okay.
was. So
I know y'all had a pretty good little produce stand, farmer's market, whatever you want to call it, right up there in Van for the
And
longest time. And
that's-
that's where I went up there, got a lot of my produce in the
yeah,
summers.
and it's still there, and that's
Right.
but like I said, they're more or less responsible for that. They're running their business, and we just own it there and turned it over to them, and then Tammy and I are going to get back into the other side of it, and after we get settled in the new place, and so.
Well, you said that you had to go do a pH test on something. So I need to know. Okay, I need cheat sheets for my garden. I mean, this year I grew jalapenos,
Yeah.
and my jalapenos weren't hot, but my banana pepper was.
Yeah.
So what do you test when you test pH in the soil? What does that do for you?
Well, like watermelons, like a pH of around 6, and so out there where we are now, it looks like it's going to be good soil, but I haven't done a test on it yet. And my son grows quite a bit of watermelons out at Colfax,
Okay.
and so that's good sandy soil. It's always been. I told him when he moved out there, I said, "Hey, when I was a kid, there were a lot of watermelon people out here, so he does well out there. But you just go and you take a test, and you can buy them at I guess at Woods or somewhere like that. Do your own pH test, or you can do a test and send it off to A&M, and
Okay.
they'll analyze it for you and break it all down and tell you everything that's in your soil that you're lacking and what you need.
Oh, wow.
And so
So the fact that you do that shows you're a lot more serious of a farmer than I am. I this year actually had one of my best years of watermelon growth, but I cut into 2 of them that were huge, but they were still green. How is the best way to tell? I mean, 'cause I had one of them. I mean, it was a big boy. Took it to a pool party. Was proud of my big watermelon. I've been trying for years. They said cut it open, and when I stuck the knife in it, it didn't split. And I knew right then and there I was in trouble. And of course, I cut it, and it had just a little sliver of light pink. Did I do something wrong? I mean, if it grow much more than that, I don't know if I could have pulled it up out of the garden.
Well, everybody's got their own way of deciding whether it's ripe or not. And there's always one sure way. If you think it's there, it's right, and you don't pull it, and the coyotes will let you know that it's ripe. But some people like to look at the curl that's nearest to the fruit, and then some people like to look at the bottom, whether it's yellow or white, and a lot of that depends on the ground that it's sitting on too. And and so a lot of people like to thump. They're just thumpers, And so,
I don't even know what I'm listening for, but my daddy thumps, so I thump. I mean, I thump cantaloupe. I mean, if I'm looking at cucumbers, I'm thumping a cucumber.
well, I typically look at the curl.
Well, see, and that was where, because I heard that, but I didn't have a curl on most of them, and the ones that were, they weren't hung up on nothing, so they would just sit up there and die.
Well, where that vine comes in, there's typically a curl about 6 inches away,
Okay.
and that's the one you're looking for.
Okay.
And when it gets brown, it's ready.
Well, somebody timestamp that right there. I'm gonna go back to that. So, is there any tricks to getting your watermelons? Like, do you go out there and you play soft music for them at night or tuck them in at bed? I mean, what is there a secret to getting a good melon off the vine?
I don't know. I think it just depends really on the variety.
On the variety, huh?
And
But you believed in me, right?
But there's one thing you don't want. Old Dickerson to tell you this, because he raised watermelons for years. You don't like to see a lot of rain about a week or two before you're pulling your watermelons.
Okay.
Because they're watermelons for a reason, and they will soak them up, and they'll be soggy and soft.
Well,
and so
that was a big problem of mine, because all watermelon season this year, it rained and it rained. I wound up getting a couple, and I had some big ones that were nice. Yeah. But to me, also didn't have the sweetness, I don't think, that you expect. What is the most important ingredient in the ground? Is that pH for watermelons?
Yeah, I can't remember the strongest thing that you want. You do want some calcium in your soil, but you just the main thing is you don't want them to dry out,
right?
And you don't want them to get waterlogged.
Right.
You know, so whatever you put on them. I like to use a triple 12 or triple 13. You know, and very seldom do we use pesticides or anything. If you do, we'll use a soft pesticide, you know, things like that, because, you know, squash bugs are of the devil. I mean, there's an evil creature.
Oh, you don't know why God put it on the ark, huh?
if they weighed 2 pounds, we would all be in trouble.
Right,
you know?
right.
I mean, it's squash bugs, but yeah, that's usually what you'll have to fight, and so.
So, what is your favorite food-bearing plant to grow? Mine, I learned okra this year. I found okra, and I love okra.
Well, it's easy.
It is. That's why I love it. And
You
it puts a pretty flower out.
You know, and the fire ants love it too. You know, they love those flowers.
yeah.
They just go up and down that thing. But I like okra. Okra's easy, but you know, everybody likes to grow a good tomato, and I like messing with tomatoes.
We're a tomato gardener because I have 3 different variations. I love the cherries. My wife loves the pears, and of course, we always make our big boys for everything else.
And I'll tell you, we mess around with heirloom tomatoes, and trying to get a lot of people to eat an heirloom tomato. Not all your heirloom tomatoes are very pretty.
Right.
You know, and you have to tell them, because you'll slice it and they'll look at it and they'll go, God, that thing's rotten. You know, no, it's not rotten. Okay. Take a bite of it, and they'll take a bite of it and they go, golly, that is so good. And, you know, because they're heirlooms. And,
right.
And, you know, some of them, one of my favorite heirlooms is Cherokee Purple, and there's a black creme. Man, those are just awesome. But when you cut them open, you can take that slice, you go,
They sort of like burnt. They ugly, but they sweet on the inside,
ugly,
huh?
You know, and most people are used to those store-bought tomatoes, you know, that are just bright red and no flavor.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about it. They don't have no our first year to grow tomatoes, we put some out there, and they grew green, and they kept growing. I mean, they were getting big, and then they'd rot. And I'm sitting there going, what in the world is going on? These things aren't mature. So one day I had a big one. I grabbed that sucker off, and I just took a bite out of it, and it was just as good as a red one. Come to find out, the daggum things that I had bought, the big green tomatoes, I'd rotted more than half my crop because I was waiting for them to ripen. So what is something that you as Wade McMillion and Miss Tammy, hi Miss Tammy, what is something that y'all like to do when you're not, I mean, just get away? What is y'all's happy place?
Man, what is our happy place? A staycation sometime. If we don't go anywhere, we're not big on crowds.
That's,
you know,
me and Michelle. We're like-minded.
We're not big on crowds, and I guess it's just, you know, being around the grandkids. I'm going to have a new one
Congratulations.
the week of Christmas.
Awesome.
And I'm going to have another one in June.
Oh, wow.
That'll be 8. And 8. So I guess being with the grandbabies, you know, that's definitely my wife's happy place. And but if it's just me and her, just good, enjoying a good mystery movie, you know, a good whodunit that's really a whodunit. You can't figure it out till the last 3
I
or
love
4
it.
minutes.
I like to try to figure it out, and I like to be disappointed on how they try to tie everything together, because it always just really, that's how you're going to tie it together.
Yeah, you spend 2.5 hours and you go, man, that was a great movie till the last 3 minutes.
Or even worse, it's a whodunit, but he did it. I already know he did it. Yeah. And then, of course, you go through all the things.
I don't like those.
Well, as I've asked every single one of our elected officials, and we're rolling around to the 3:30 mark. I don't think, heard from Tonda yet. Let's see. Real-time updates. Let's see. She's in court. If on the other side of the deal, Kevin Bridger can't get enough of this daggum camera. He thinks he's pretty or something. So we're going to bring him back on the camera. And we already planned to possibly go for 5:30. So we're going to go till whenever we want to go. And if Tonda shows up, she shows up. If not, we'll get her back on another time. You know, campaign season ain't even started yet. So, right. You know, we got a long time to get there. But anyway, as we talked with Commissioner Curtis, the Sheriff Bridger, as a justice of the peace, and you've got JPs in every precinct, what is the one thing that you want to ask our prayer warriors out there right now as they pray over you and your fellow JPs out there and judges? What is one thing that you feel as an elected official, because the Bible instructs us to pray for our elected, what is one thing that you ask our prayer warriors out there to pray for you and lift you and your fellow JPs up in?
Wisdom.
Wisdom.
Give us wisdom. That's what Solomon asked for. Give me wisdom. Help us when it comes time to make decisions, to be wise about it, because that's what we're in. We're in the business of making decisions, and
right.
Somebody's always unhappy. Somebody's, occasionally both parties will be pretty happy or satisfied. That looks really good, by the way.
Oh, here these are the Orange Crushes. We generally get one for every pep rally, and I'm going to tell you right now, these things are beast. You're going to go home and have dreams about this tonight. I mean, I never thought about putting Orange Crush on top of a ice cream float. Man, let me tell you something. I haven't looked at a root beer float the same again.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking the root beer floats are getting a little bit jealous because I haven't been talking to them as sweet as I used to. I'm going to take me a quick bite. It's going to help my throat. I promise you that. Guys, right here at Trax, I'm going to let y'all know. Right. Ice cream, supper, this meatloaf, I'm going to tell you right now, it's addicted. Matter of fact, you might get so addicted, Sheriff Bridger might have to come into your house and start searching for it. You're going to be hiding it. But they got meatloaf, mashed potatoes, carrots, and green beans. And on the other side, we got chicken pot pie and a side salad. We're going to go to a commercial break while I get some of this sugar down in my system, and we'll be right back.
Lone Pine Land Services, we will get the job done right. All one line. Lone Pine Land Services, we will get the job done right. All one line. There's no one better in the business called Chuck Haverly, and let's get to work. Hey! Lone Pine Land Services. Honeydew lives, yeah, it's calling. Leaving you crawling. Yes, indeed. Don't let the project stall in. Mama starts bawling. Oh, the greed. Got a garage to clear. Landscaping, my dear. Equipment rental, a camp. Turn that honeydew list into a well-done kiss. Camp.
All righty. Well, unfortunately, it looks like Miss Tonda Curry is going out serving the public, and she wasn't going to be able to make it today. She texted us a while ago, said she was still in court. That started at 1 o'clock. We put her at the very last segment, hoping she'd be able to, but unfortunately, when you got this level of players on your roster, they busy folk, and it doesn't always go 9 to 5 and all that. So we're just going to audible, and thank goodness my cohort from the top of the press box, Mr. Caden Mosher, y'all actually get to see him right here, was able to make it today. And as a part of the fire department, there's some well, go ahead, you explain it. This is an educational segment. We want to be sure to let that be known. There's no for or against on this, but it is on the ballot, and we want you to be educated as to what is on the ballot. So as our public information officer, or is that?
No, it's still there.
Public or?
Yeah, there it is.
I thought it was pretty information officer
Oh,
now.
man.
I didn't know. I mean,
Well, that's better than most translations that I get.
Well, it's family friendly. We're at the dining room table, so we're going to keep it family friendly. So anyway, our pretty information officer over here for the Grand Saline Fire Department, Mr. Caden Mosher, is right here, and he's got a little fact sheet that he wants to share with y'all. Since we all know he knows his way around a microphone, I'm going to shut up and let you have it, Caden. Tell him.
All righty. Thank you, Bert, for having us on, and thank you to the viewers and the sponsors that made it happen. You had some of my good friends up here, the sheriff, Judge McMillion, and then the commissioner on. So I watched that on my drive over from work, so
awesome.
Stream sounded good. There were quite a few viewers on there. But what I'm here today to speak to you about is an amendment that is on this ballot that you can currently early vote. You can early vote now. I believe you can early vote all of next week, and then Election Day on November 4th. Right now, something new, and this is the first election that's had it in Van Zandt County, you can early vote in 3 different locations. There's a location in Van, there's a new location in Wills Point, and then, of course, the library in Canton. If you need those, we can post those in the comment section after I get done. But what I'm here to talk to you about today is the Van Zandt County Emergency Services District Number 2 Sales and Use Tax Proposition. And this is my personal opinion and has no affiliation with my job. So, many people might ask, who gets this money? Right now, the state is already taking 6.25% of all tangible goods that are sold. The remaining 2% of the allowable cap goes to local governments, like the city of Grand Saline, for instance. They're taking that 2% already. Any business in the city of Grand Saline pays that 2% tax. So you're already paying that, and that's a cap of 8.25%, which is the state cap. So the state gets 6.25, and the city gets 2.
Don't look at me for math. If you're trying to look for a number, I'm
They're
lost.
easy numbers. I've got these numbers. I've had to say them so many times.
1 + 2.
Well, we had the 55-yard line. So
Exactly.
But anywho, so the city's already taking in the 2% that's collectible for local government entities. And so anything outside the city limits that the ESD in the ESD district is not being taken right now.
Okay.
So the ESD board is very wise. We have a really good working ESD board right now, and they said, well, how can we gain some more? We're going to need some more money. The town is growing. The ESD is growing. The fire department's getting busier, as you know. It's going to be the busiest year that we've had so far. We've outgrown our fire station.
Right.
We have new trucks coming in and nowhere to put them. So we've got to prepare for the future. Right. And so they were looking at ways to bring in a little bit more money without having to skyrocket property taxes, which
right.
nobody wants to do. We all want our property taxes to be lower. And I think the legislature is trying to work, but they just can't seem to get it figured out. I think they're trying to work on it, but they still can't seem how to get it down. So this was an option, and they had a feasibility study done, and it showed at the rate with all the businesses that are paying taxes to the state in our ESD outside the city limits, we can bring in around an extra $25,000 a year, which is close to about $300,000. Correction, I screwed that all up. It's about $25,000 a month and about $300,000 around that number a year, and that's a lot of money that we're not taking in that's already there. And a lot of places are already charging you the 8% and giving it to the state, and the state's just keeping it down in Austin.
Okay.
At the comptroller's office. And so you probably won't notice it. You may notice a difference a few places, But a lot of places are already taking in the 8% sales tax and just calling it 8% or 8.25%.
Right.
And so you're already paying it. So how can these funds be used? Many may ask. Well, it obviously funds the fire department. It funds our rescue operations and emergency response services. It may be used for something that we started here, our staffing, equipment, vehicles, and facility improvements. Those are all on our 5-year plan. As most people know, we did start the volunteer staffing program, so the Grand Saline Fire Department is staffed 24/7, 365 with 2 trained firefighters at all times. And that benefits the citizen and the taxpayer.
Right.
We've got about 90 square miles within the ESD and about 13,000 residents. And voters will have the chance to decide whether to authorize Van Zandt County ESD2 to adopt the local sales tax at a rate not to exceed 2.0% within the district. And it's stated very specific on the ballot. It states, the adoption of a local sales and use tax in Van Zandt County Emergency Services District Number 2 at a rate not to exceed 2% in any location in the district. That's what it's going to read. I got to go vote earlier this week, and you'll have your 17 constitutional amendments, which if you haven't studied up on those, educate yourself, because there's no worse thing than an uneducated voter.
Amen to that.
So if you go through your first page on the ballot, turn it over, we're the last one on the ballot. So if you want more information, we have a really good website. It's vzcesd2.org. Again, vzcesd2.org. There's an election tab. It has all the information, has the feasibility study. It's got all of it on there. You can go see minutes, agendas from the meetings. You can see the boards. You can contact us if you need more information. We've tried to make a new website that's more accessible to the taxpayer to figure out what's going on in the ESD.
Well, real quick, I just got a text from Miss Tonda. She's headed this way hot and heavy. So
then we'll keep her.
Then you need to keep talking while I reply to her and let her know.
Do we have any? Are we monitoring the comment section to our production manager? I'm going to get on here and see if does anybody have any questions. I know there's a lot of questions with this. They were asking if it was going to affect the city or take away from the city's sales tax. It is not going to touch the city. I think I spoke to the mayor this week and explained the process to her. I don't see anything in the comments. Well, we're going to go to a quick commercial break, and we'll come up and find something else to talk about.
Caden thinks he's on top of the daggone press box telling me to go to a commercial break.
Cruising down Main Street, yeah, sun sinking low. Got that feeling deep inside. Where do I go? Hungry, real hungry. Dairy bar, bright neon sign. Dairy bar.
Salt liquor, yeah, come on down. Salt liquor, best eats in town.
Got crawfish boiling, the music's pumping. We got karaoke going on till the morning.
Salt liquor, yeah, come on down. Salt liquor, best eats in town.
Feel that
So, Caden, what do you want to talk about?
We've been debating this for 5 minutes. Hang on. Let's see our audience. Well, you're going to leave this up. I'm going to see who's on our audience.
What we got, anyway, the update is Miss Tonda, she finally got out of court, sent me a text that she was headed this way. I told her we would hold the show. I mean, that's a good thing about podcasting is you can literally sit here and just look at Caden and not say a word.
I
and
could laugh.
And I could just.
He's laughing. He's laughing. And he's blinking already.
You can just do anything and can kill time. But anyway, what we have here is we've trying to sort of mix people in policy. I mean, okay, one thing that we can bring up, and this is something I know you're proud of. You've just landed a position, management role, I've not organizational role, I guess you would say, in an organization here that's just brand new, launching in here, and you've been excited. You've talked my ear off about it. Let's tell people what you've got going on.
Well, for those of you who don't know, in my little spare time that I have, I do like to dabble in politics at the local and state level and even a little bit at the federal level when I have the opportunity. And for the last 2 years, I've had the opportunity to be a part of an organization called the Texas Young Republicans. So what it is it's a state-based organization with local chapters. But there's never been a local chapter in Van Zandt County, so I've always participated at the state level. So they do a whole lot of advocacy.
Right.
For conservative values and beliefs on legislative work and for campaigns and all different kinds of things. I spent a lot of time in Austin. And I had a gentleman come to me actually after the passing of Charlie Kirk.
Right.
And said, I think now's the time. And I said, I agree. So within about 2 days, we had an executive board founded, and we met at the Dairy Palace in Canton. And we debated for 5.5 hours on what the name of the club was going to be. And it was going to be the Van Zandt County Young Republicans, and I said no. I said, because if you look around, Wood County, Rains County, Hunt County, Kaufman County, Henderson County, none of them have chapters.
Right.
The closest chapter is either Smith County or Rockwall County. And I said, so let's include everybody. We can expand our reach. And so we came up with the name of the Northeast Texas Young Republicans. And if it wasn't for my good friend Gavin Whitaker, I don't know where we'd be. So we formed the executive committee. We've got our name. We're getting federated. And we have our first meeting coming up this Monday at 5 p.m. at the Stagecoach Room at the Silver Spur in Canton. That's right off 19. If you don't know where that's at. Q and Brew, it's right beside it. So the first meeting is just going to be a meet and greet for us. Everybody can read our bylaws. We're hoping to recruit some members. But then the next meeting, I think we're going to plan on having a speaker. Hopefully with my connections, we can have some pretty good local elected officials and then work our way up. I know we have contacts for all the way from the federal level down. And so we just hope to give a place for the 18 to 40-year-olds, a place to come in and feel involved.
What if I identify as 40?
But you can come, Bert.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We do have associate members, and there's all these fancy terms for it that I don't have in front of me right now. But anybody is welcome to join us at our meetings. We encourage everybody to. Even if you're over 40, you can still join our club. You just can't be an active member. You'll be.
So what is y'all's purpose? Like, I mean, you're a bunch of young Republicans. It's in the name. What is y'all's mission statement?
So our purpose, A, is to get the average young adult out to vote. I don't know if you've ever researched voting numbers, but the turnout for young adults is very low. So A, we want to get them out to vote, but before we get them to vote, we want them to be educated, and we want them to be involved in the community and have those, all of us that share those deep conservative Christian values to be involved. So we're here as a hub.
Right.
To have those people plugged in and out serving different roles in the community.
Well, since we have a little bit of time, Mr. Young Republican, since you're in an exclusive Youngins gang, you said that there was a bunch of amendments, and you've got that MyPad right over there next to you. Why don't you grab that MyPad and look those up and give us a little rundown. I mean, we're trying to kill time till Ms. Tonda gets here, so we can't say that. And if you've ever listened to the football games on Friday nights, you know that we just talk back and forth. So we kill a little bit of time till Ms. Tonda gets here. I want to just say a shout out right now. We are here at Trax. If you've not been to Trax, y'all need to come to Trax, Trax, home of 2 salty broads, right across the train tracks if you're coming into town on 110. Tonight's special is meatloaf, carrots, and carrots or green beans. That stuff's good. The meatloaf is just, this is homemade. We ate here one time. My wife said she didn't feel like she was eating out. She said she didn't feel like she was eating over at somebody else's house.
I've had lunch here a couple times. It's been very good.
It's amazing food. It's homemade, love-made food. They also have the chicken pot pie with the side salad. If you want to have a orange crush, let me tell you something. That is a good.
Of course, you'd rub it in my face when I start my diet.
Pity the fool. I pity the fool that diets. Anyway, have you found our list of amendments that you want?
So there's 17 of them, so there's no easy way to explain this. So I'm going to just give a brief explanation, and if you want more information, you can always reach out to me.
His number is?
No. I'm about to cut your mic. You can reach out to me on social media or reach out to Bert. He'll get you connected to me. I'm just going to briefly explain to you what each one of them is. There's 17
different ones. I will tell them exactly
ones.
which bedroom window is yours.
Okay. Well, I'm going to change bedrooms tonight. So, first off is Proposition 1, and it creates a special state funds with $850 million to buy land, equipment, and build infrastructure for statewide technical colleges. Automatically funnels money without approval and accountability. So there's a little bit of research into that one. Proposition 2 permanently bans state tax on capital gains. Proposition 3 allows a big one for me. It allows judges to deny bail for dangerous criminals.
Right.
We all experienced that. I'm not going to get into the semantics of it, but we experienced that right here at home just a few months ago. Proposition 4 is to redirect up to $1 million yearly from sales tax into a water fund for infrastructure projects. And I know that's a big deal in East Texas with the aquifer.
Yeah.
I know your reporter's been covering that for a minute now. So I would encourage you to do your research on Proposition 4.
We want to give Clay a shout out. He's back here behind the camera. He's over here helping us in this growth.
I think we were on 4. And now we're going to go to Proposition 5. It exempts farm feed from business property taxes. Some of these are just business items.
I get it.
Right. Proposition 6 bans taxes on stock trades and brokers. Like I said, do your research.
Yes, most definitely.
Proposition 7, it extends property tax relief to surviving military spouses.
Amen.
Proposition 8 bans estate, inheritance, and gift taxes. So deals with the states and things of that nature. Proposition 9 exempts up to $125,000 of tools and equipment from business property taxes. Proposition 10, temporarily property tax exemption from homes destroyed by fires. You and I can attest to that and the wave of emotion and heartache that is when somebody loses their house.
Well, and I've been on the receiving end of that. Matter of fact, one of the reasons why I'm on the fire department is one of the driving factors behind it, not the reason why, but I had a house fire in 2019, and Grand Saline Police Department and Fire Department both responded because if you don't know, a lot of our officers and of our firefighters, they're dual certified. They do both things so they can jump on both ends. And so we saw the quick action, what they saved of our house. And, I mean, now being on the other side where you're sitting there fighting the fire and you're fighting to save that, you see how the effort that goes into it, the passion. And as a firefighter, we want nothing more than to save every inch of property we can.
Right. We're going to move on to Proposition 11. It expands the property tax exemption. There's already a property tax exemptions for seniors and disabled. It expands that cap a little bit and gives it a little bit more gives them a little bit more relief. Proposition 12 expands Judicial Conduct Commission oversight. That gets into your judges and what they can and can't do.
Right.
Proposition 13 increases a school homestead exemption from $100,000 to $140,000. It's got to do with your school taxes. Proposition 15, it's a big one, protects parental rights against government interference. So that gets into your 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old range of what you, the parent, can do, which I believe is a very important thing as a parent.
It definitely. And I tell you what, no, government don't have no business in my parenting. All I gotta say. Go ahead.
Proposition, we're wrapping up. Proposition 16 codifies that only, this is one of the biggest ones that you need to educate yourself on and pay really close attention to, because there's a lot of things going on that I know me and Bert don't agree with that are going on. This one codifies that only a U.S. citizen can vote in Texas elections.
It should
That
be.
keeps other citizens from other states voting here with dual residency, and that protects the aliens that are here from voting in our Texas elections.
Yeah.
And then Proposition 17 exempts property tax increases when border fencing / border security structures are built. So that's down along the border. So those are 17 constitutional amendments. And then if you live here in ESD2, you've got the sales tax and use. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, do your research.
Yeah, and as we've always said, always do your research. You know, you may not agree with the young Republicans or the young Democrats or the young independents group, but just be happy you're seeing young people get out there. And before you join any organization, even the one that Caden was just talking, go research that organization. If you do deep research and you don't like the management or the organizers behind it, then you probably don't need to be in that organization, because you may not. So research every aspect of it before you go out there, because literally the discord in our society, it's political division that needs to be overcome. And I think if we go and a lot of us look into a lot of this legislation we're arguing under, if both sides read it, I bet you more than likely we could come to an agreement. But instead of coming to an agreement, we just want to sit there and argue it and not come back. Caden,
I did mess up one thing. I lied to you.
Shame on you.
The meeting is not Monday. The meeting is Thursday, October 30th at 6:30 at the Silver Spur Stagecoach Room. So Thursday at 6:30.
Well, that old wives' tale's busted because your britches didn't catch on fire. You lied to me, and, man, that was one I was hoping was true. I think we're going to pitch to a commercial break real quick. I'm going to reach out to Miss Tonda Curry and see if we can get an ETA on her. And we don't want to wear her out. I mean, she's been in court all day long. If she's en route, we'll make that call. We'll update you on the other side of the break. We'll be right back.
Gibson Service Company is your hometown service company located right here in Grand Saline. Gibson Services offers an array of services no matter the scale of the job, such as civil engineering, commercial large-scale and corporate construction, commercial and residential sand and gravel, select fill and dirt pit, land clearing, concrete, asphalt and fencing. No matter the job site, Gibson will get the work done right. Gibson Service Company is the generous sponsor of Gibson Service Control Panel here at the Grand Saline Sun Live Local Now broadcast mothership. Thank you, John Gibson and Gibson Service Company. You guys rock. Call Trash Patrol today and be happy with your trash service. Go Indians!
Lone Pine Land Services, we will get the job done right. All on my Lone Pine Land Services, we will get the job done right. All on my. There's no one better in the business. Call Chuck Haverly and let's get to work. Hey! Lone Pine Land Services. Honeydew lives, yeah, it's calling, leaving you crawling. Yes, indeed. Don't let the project stall in. Mama starts bawling. Oh, the greed. Got a garage to clear, landscaping, my dear. Equipment rental, a camp. Turn that honeydew list into a well-done kiss. Camp.
And we're back. Well, unfortunately, as I like to say, life is a cruel dance partner, and unfortunately, life has stepped on my toes today, and Miss Tonda Curry is not going to be able to make it tonight. She was coming back from Rains County, and, well, it just didn't happen. But we want to thank Caden Mosher for running over here, not only presenting the facts and the information on the ESD2 proposition, but also helping us burn some time and giving us a little bit of information about the constitutional amendments. I mean, if that right there doesn't perk your ears up, I mean, anytime somebody says constitutional amendment, you should ask why and what's it amending it to. We want to thank you guys for tuning in today. It's been a little bit of a rough show, but I think it was great. I think it went well. As I've said with every single one of our elected officials that have visited with us today, and I'm sure Miss Tonda would echo this, y'all continue to pray for those that work for our votes, that work for our public, that protect us, that help us keep our society a good place to live. I don't know about you guys. I've been in several different communities. Van Zandt County is what I call home for a reason. I chose Van Zandt County, and it's because we got people that really care. And today we just saw 3 of them, well, 4 of them if you want to count Caden, even though he's uglier than everybody else. But did you ever get to find out what Grey Poupon was?
No, I told you I was watching it at church on Sunday in front of Christy Good.
Okay, well, I'm going to have Brother Dave put it up on the big screen. Anyway, we will talk to you guys later. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Y'all be sure and help, support our sponsors. Go see them, say thank you, and keep our elected officials covered in prayer. See y'all next time.